think about your ideal version of yourself. Visualize the healthiest, best version of you. What is that? Who is that person? What do they look like? How do they carry themselves? What does their skin look like? Their skin's glowing. How do they treat others? How are they interacting with others? Again, the best version of you.
Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. It's John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another inspired health conversation. And we're welcoming back my cowboy brother from another mother, Mr. Tim James, founder of Chemical Free Body. It's good to see you, my friend.
Yoga every day, baby.
Yeah, sexy Oregon cowboy. I can say that. I'm man enough to say that.
Yeah, I got to do Bikram yoga. I had to go to Portland
Oh, you like the hot stuff.
to do some business stuff, and my youngest son Kyle went with me on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. while everybody was probably hungover from weekend drinking, but we weren't. And had a 90-minute Bikram hot yoga class, and I miss it. I can't wait to get my hot room built here at on the farm. It's a transform. I did it 100 days in a row one time, and it was amazing.
Holy moly. Wow. Okay, so it's on my bucket list. I've never done it. I've done a lot of workouts in extreme weather during my skiing days, but never Bikram yoga. So I put it on the list. Listen, Tim, we're in between Thanksgiving and Christmas here. So, that's a lot of eating holidays. And I know on the one side, everybody's excited about getting together with the family and eating and the sugary stuff and the whatever. But on the other side, there's a lot of people who are on their, let's just say, optimal weight journey, and there are two ways to look at this. One usually causes a lot of ups and downs, and one usually leads to a very successful path. Can we talk a little bit about that? Because that's a lot of the work that you do at Chemical Free Body.
Yeah, yeah, I know, and I went through that transition too when I started waking up to what was going on in the foods and stuff like that. And I'll just tell people like, look, I ain't perfect at all. Like when I did eat like a saint from January 1st until November, like pretty much 90% living fooder, which means I was eating all sprouts, basically sprouted nuts, sprouted seeds, sprouted grains, which I know most people probably can't even relate with, but I was immersed in this thing. My friend had cancer. I was doing it to help him and support him. But then came Thanksgiving. And one of my most favorite things of ever in my whole life is my mom's pumpkin pies. She had her own special recipe, and we made them together. And then there would be leftover crust, and then we would cook those with sugar and cinnamon on them, and I'd eat them. And those were like, I'm telling you, like I have like just thinking about like, so my mom would get mad because I'd eat the whole pie. So she started making 2 pies, and I eat all those. So she started, we were making 3 pies and plus this other stuff. And she's like, now there's one pie you can't touch, right? So that's where I was. I was a human tapeworm. And I remember coming back that night, and I'm just like, okay, I need to like, there's sugar in there and there's gluten, but I'm just going to, love myself and eat it. And I had that pumpkin pie, and I was like, God, that was so good. And then, the night went on, everybody went about their business, and I came back into the kitchen. As I went by the refrigerator, I ate another one. And then I let the dog out, and I ate another one. And I was just going back and forth. And basically in 2 days, still ate 2 pies. I pulled it out. The next day, man, I was so sick. I
Lee,
was
it's like hungover. To me, it's like hungover when
bags
that.
under my eyes. I felt
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it was bad because you know what all alcohol really is sugar. So alcoholics are just sugar addicts. And I just pounded 2 pies worth of sugar. And so I get where people are coming from. So to cut this whole thing short, the best thing to do is just have somebody lock you in the basement for Christmas, and you're good. You'll lose
No,
weight. Just have them give you a bucket of water, and you're good. And just do you some
but
yoga.
I know, but here's the thing. There's such a branding and decade long marketing strategy, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss. Yet on average, the world, not just America, is getting fatter. So this branding and this psychology doesn't work, and it's sort of working counterintuitively. People lose weight, then they gain it, they lose it. What's the mind and heart space? What's the difference between that and actually, like you lost a lot of weight, but you are in your optimal weight state, like and you stay that way. What's the difference?
Well, the difference is really opening up your heart and your mind, and it's it's really not about weight loss. And it's like weight loss, weight loss, weight loss everywhere. Take this pill and you magic this, and people are so busy because both mom and dad have to work to make ends meet. And you got kids and run around to soccer and taking care of parents, and and people are literally Alzheimer's and dementia. People are losing their mind. It's really tough watching your family go through this stuff, and it's busy, 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 busy. And throw the holidays in and colds and flus, and it's just rough on people. So, but they don't feel good about themselves. They can't button their belly. They can't get the pants, or the woman can't fit into the jeans that she wants or the clothes she wants, and it's frustrating, and it's embarrassing. You take your clothes off and you look at yourself in the mirror, and that's one thing I like about Bikram yoga, because you're in a hot room, 104 degrees, and you're looking at a big mirror. It gives you a reflection. Now, that reflection of that person that you look at, let's say if you're overweight right now, the problem is we begin this process of self-loathing, and it's this perpetual loop of like, oh, I'm overweight, I'm fat, I'm a loser. And then you're like, okay, that's it, I got to do it. And you get all this motivation going. And then you try to, I'm getting up at 5 in the morning, and you go work out for 2 hours. And then the next day you can't move. And then you're like, the hell with it, because you're so sore. Or I'm going to do this diet. And you just about go mentally stir crazy for a week or a month doing this. And then as soon as you get off of it, or you just fall off of it, and you just go consume a whole bunch of food, and then you feel like terrible, and you're like, I'm a loser, right? So this is, you have to understand that you have so many things going against you. It's really about education on processed foods versus getting, and then getting that education, getting back to healthy stuff. But before all that, you have to understand that it's about self-love. That's what it boils down to. You have to love yourself in spite of whatever's going on. And why wouldn't we? Like, if you think that creation, I mean, ask yourself that question. If you believe in creation, God, whatever that is to you, is the all powerful. I mean, it created this world and everything in the universe. That's kind of a big deal, right? Whoever did that, put that together, that's amazing. And they created you, or that entity, or that person, or whoever it was created you. If creation doesn't make mistakes, then there's no way by default that you're a mistake. You are an indestructible being at your core, nothing more than unconditional love. And so what's happened is through societal conditioning and parental conditioning and the TV and the news and friends and neighbors, all these clouds are between you and that sun of unconditional love. What our job is to wake people up and help them brush the clouds away, because the unconditional love is always shining. It's always there to tap into. And the journey in is, you don't have to go anywhere. It's just right there. It's you. You can just go inward. And you go inward, you go inward, you go inward, and you start loving yourself no matter what. And when you get that frequency spinning and going, and you tap into that vibrational frequency, the weight loss is going to just happen, right? If that's something that you desire, because when you start loving yourself, you're going to be like, you know what? I do love myself, and God gave me this body. So it's like, it's kind of my responsibility to take good care of it. Otherwise, I'm kind of like slapping God in the face. And,
Well, when you
go
also
ahead.
start listening more, right? Because when you're in that frequency, rather than, oh, I crave this, or I'm trying to deal with the stress, you're in a calmer space. And when you're in a calmer space, you can hear better, and then you go, listen, okay, so actually, no, my body's not telling me to have another chocolate bar. My body's actually telling me to drink a glass of water and go for a walk, right? So those are two completely different frequencies that you're then coming from. And by default, like you say, so many things just start to fall into place. That doesn't mean you don't have to do things. There are things that we do need to do to maintain these
Yeah.
bodies.
And then there's some simple things, and I'm just going to give people some solutions that have worked for myself. I've been able to maintain my ideal weight now for 13 years. I was 42 pounds overweight for a long time before that. Severe digest, not only the weight, but it's about a healthy lifestyle. You want to have a healthy body. This body is a gift, and you want to take care of it and maintenance it, and you have to become your own doctor. Period. You have to take 100% responsibility for all aspects of your life, not just maybe your career or your kids or both, or your wife or your husband. You have to look at this vehicle as what's going to get you through it. So on the basics, like the very first thing that people have to understand is your sleep totally affects whether you're going to be at your optimal weight or not. So we're not just talking about weight loss. We're talking about being a healthy person. And when you're a healthy in person, your body will just balance itself into a natural, healthy weight. It's going to be a byproduct
I
of
love that.
being a healthy person because you're loving yourself. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I'm going to do this. In fact, a really good thing that's very powerful that I started implementing a few months ago for myself, and I've been sharing it with people, and it's been profound. I mean, I could pull up text. This guy just texted me, said, "What you just shared with me is it works every time." And what it is think about your ideal version of yourself. If you want to, if you're not driving right now and you can close your eyes, but you can do it with your eyes open too, whatever's for you. Visualize the healthiest, best version of you. What is that? Who is that person? What do they look like? How do they carry themselves? What does their skin look like? Their skin's glowing. How do they treat others? How are they interacting with others? Again, the best version of you. When challenges are in front of you or somebody's being, AKA negative towards you, how do you respond to them? The best version of yourself. So when you can lock in that best version of yourself, the physical body that you would want to have, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, it's the full package, best version of you. Okay, that's locked in. Now, when you're going through your day and stuff happens like, okay, well, I'm not going to force my whole family to eat this way, but there's still a loaf of bread in there, and I'd like to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich versus maybe have a green juice rather than eating the peanut butter and jelly sandwich before dinner. What would the best version of me do? Just ask yourself that simple question, and then it's like instant lightning bolt energy. Oh, the best version of me is going to have the green juice. Boom, done. Okay, maybe your wife starts yelling at you, your husband starts yelling at you. Instead of yelling back, it's never going to do any good. What would the best version of myself do in this situation? Oh, I know. Shower them with unconditional love and be compassionate towards them to understand that if they're spewing out all this garbage towards me or anybody else, boy, they must be hurting inside. That person is going to start flowing through life like water down it's like water down a creek. It's going to flow down easy rather than struggling through life. And the stress through the struggle is literally going to put weight on your body. Okay? So with that said, let's go back to the sleep thing. One of the most important things you can do that you have the most advantage to take advantage of is your sleep. All right? So if you're let's say even if you're like, well, I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, but you wake up tired. You probably have what's called shallow sleep syndrome. Now, I've done over 2,500 intake forms for people, and most people are not sleeping good. Even if they think they are, they're not. So where I'm at right now is I think, especially if anybody wants to lose weight, I think you should do an in-home sleep study. You should do an in-home sleep study and see how you're sleeping. Because and I hate these things, but a lot of people now need those CPAPs
Mhm.
because they're waking up. And you might need that appliance to get you by for a while until you can get the rest of your body healthy and back in alignment so you don't need it. So unfortunately, that's there, but I'm glad it is, right? So get a sleep study. You might need a CPAP, unfortunately. But what you can do on the cheap, if you don't have the time or energy or insurance for that, is you can get yourself what's called there's these a Whoop band. There's also something called an Aura ring, and then Garmin company has one. These are wearables that you can wear, and they can monitor your sleep and stuff like that. And I had a doctor tell me, he was like, yeah, he was on my show, and he just followed the studies, and he said the study said, having a couple alcoholic beverages before you go to bed is real good for sleep. And so he did that, and because it was in the scientific literature, and he followed that literature because him and all of his colleagues were doing it, and that's just the way it is. Okay. Well, he started getting into these wearables, and he started really he's like, "Oh, I want to get good sleep." And he's looking at his numbers and what can I do? And then all of a sudden he hadn't had some drinks. And then he said, "Oh, I'm going to have 2 drinks now." And he'd been doing it for like 30 days as he's been tweaking stuff. His sleep numbers are going up high. He has 2 drinks and his sleep numbers tanked down into the 60s from 0 to 100. And he was up in, I think, 80s and 90s. And that's when he was like, "Oh my God, I've been lied to. This study was BS, complete BS, because I'm looking at the results and now I see how I feel." So he's made a mission now. It's Dr. Torkel. I think he's from over in Europe somewhere. Um, Finland, I think, or something like that. And anyway, so that was just another quick little example. But with these wearables, what you can do is you can now start testing things. What is the ideal temperature for you to sleep in? And you can, you set it at 70 degrees and sleep on that for a few nights. change it to 65, sleep on that for a few nights, do it to 60. What works for me is about 62 degrees. That
Damn.
Fahrenheit, that's where I sleep
That's
the
like I
best.
like cold too, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I sleep the best. Now, you might be a little bit different, but if you can find what that is, boom, that's one thing. The next thing is your air quality. This is huge. Most homes are 100 times, if not worse, toxically in the air than downtown LA, smoggiest day, because of the off gassing and the chemicals and the glues and the particle boards and the paints and all this other stuff. So these, you know, what do they call them? Energy efficient homes are actually toxic death coffins. So the best thing you can do, old homes have, like, drafts and real wind and air is kind of moving through them, so you have fresh air. The average person consumes 400 gallons an hour of air. So on the cheap, crack your window at night, even if you're in a city. Get fresh air coming in. And if you can afford a good air purification system like we carry, like the Austin air purification systems, get one of those and at least put them in your bedroom so you can have really good, high quality air. And you watch on your wearable, your sleep will improve with better air. Another thing that is foundational is getting grounded, because we are not in contact with Mother Earth. And I think most of your audience knows about this. If you have not gotten a device yet, do you have a place where you send people for that?
No, we don't. We can send them your way happily.
Well, I just send them to Ground Lux, GROUND, uh, yeah, Ground Lux, LUXE, ground, and then LUXE.com, because they have 10% silver threads. Just get a fitted sheet. I like those the best. And then just sleep on it. Now you're getting grounded. That's going to help you sleep better. You're going to improve your sleep score. You can start looking into different things like weighted blankets. Then you look at your quality of your mattresses. That's huge. Making sure that if you have coil springs that are not insulated, unless you're up in the mountaintops, you've just turned into a EMF vibration pad. I mean, you're going to be super zapped. Making sure your head is not within 3 foot of the light socket, because ELFs are coming through the frequent. I'm telling you, I've worked with thousands of people on this stuff, and there's things in our environment you wouldn't even think of. So
Listen,
one
we're gonna do an entire show on this because there's so much to cover on the sleep thing that is incredible. Actually, as you were talking about it, I love that.
Yeah. So sleep is something you can do. Now, with that being said, a lot of people are, what can I do? Well, sleep, drink a lot of good water. Okay. You want to get water in your body, right? Because water is going to help you hydrate. It's going to help you push toxins out of your body. It's going to help you absorb nutrition in. And then what we do is we have little tools that help people lose weight. And so the first tool we have people take is, for the first 15 days, they get that product. It's in the Inspired Optimal Health Bundle. It's called Gut Detox. And
Take it every day.
you'll take 3 capsules in the morning and then 3 capsules at night for the first 15 days. That first bottle's gone, and you're going to expect to lose about 6 to 12 of pounds of impacted fecal material and mucoid plaques that are lining the small and large intestine. So you want to get that crap out of there, literally. So now the linings of the intestines can start to heal, and they can also start absorbing nutrition properly. And also, so it doesn't destroy your intestinal villi. These is the hair-like structures that are lining the entire intestinal tract. These things are very important. Like, if you want to have beautiful skin and have a flawless body and be at the optimal weight, you want to take care of those intestinal villi. You have a lot of them, and they're your best friends. Take good care of them. So first step is clean that crap out, and then we start flooding the body with nutrition. When people take concentrated nutrition like our Green 85 juice formula, you're literally going to cut your grocery bill in half. Why? Because now the nutrients are getting into the cells, and the cells communicate to you, and they're going to tell you, I'm full. I have what I need. I have the building blocks to carry out the activities of daily living that you're doing. So thank you very much. And you just can't eat as much. You just won't be able to eat as much. So even in the beginning, if you're eating garbage foods, you'll eat half the garbage because you can't eat it anymore. You're just not hungry. And
It
that's
is
been the
it is true. I'm telling you, last week I did it one morning. Instead of drinking the greens first, I have breakfast first. And we don't do breakfast that often, but I had a good portion breakfast. The next morning, I drank the greens first, and then half an hour later, it was an experiment. I couldn't eat that portion no matter how hard I tried. It was half, if not less than half, that I wanted to eat that morning. It is absolutely true. And I do the greens every day. So that's
yeah.
100% true.
And keep in mind too that there's multifaceted benefits. 60 to 80% of our energy on a daily basis for the average American is just going to break down and consume and process your food. Your stomach's working and churning and moving and the process, all that stuff. I mean, if you can cut half of that out, then all that energy that was going for digestion can now go to your extremities. It can go to activities of daily living. It can go to your brain for think. It can go to your immune system to get you so you don't get the flu and the cold where everybody else is getting it. It can help you heal from cancer. It can help you do whatever because you're rerouting the immune system from this daily burden of digestion back over to natural processes that it would have been doing in the first place. So, as you're doing these things and you start cleaning up the digestive tract, flooding the body with green phytochemical nutrition, right? And working on your sleep and drinking lots of water, there's no way that this is not going to work for you, right? You're going to start feeling better. Now, here's the thing, especially for women. Typically, men are going to lose weight faster. It's just the way it is. Women got a lot of hormonal stuff going on. They got premenopause, postmenopause, the cycle. There's a lot going on there. Typically, what happens for women, it's a 4 to 6 month process of a healthy lifestyle. And before the weight starts, they'll actually start seeing it come off because the hormones needs to get balanced and all that. But what I can say, what's been reported to me and all our coaches, is that a lot of the women, their figure changes. All of a sudden, things start fitting different, right? Because the other thing is when we're doing these certain things, you're probably going to lose, garbage accumulation in the intestinal tract. You're going to probably now be drinking more water, so you're going to be having a little bit more water weight in. You're going to build up a little bit more muscle, but then so that's going to kind of balance the weight. But your figure starts changing, clothes start fitting better, and then the weight comes off. I've just seen this over and over again. Not that it can't happen. I saw a nurse one time lose like 21 pounds in a month when her husband, he only lost like 12 pounds, and he was
There
like
you
an
go.
insurance salesman, probably because of stress. Okay, he was
Hmm.
super stressed out. So stress is another one too that's can never ever be overlooked. It should be an overlying theme on anything that you're trying to do with your health. Because if you're stressed, forget about healing, forget about weight loss and that kind of stuff. So I would say that focus on your stress, focus on how you respond to it, focus on your sleep. Everything you can do is sleep. Drink a ton of water. Take a few of our products. Um, and then, I mean, that's probably enough for now, but, get grounded in the sleep thing. That's really important. But the most important thing, I guess, over all of it is just self-love.
I
Self-love and
agree.
understanding that this has got to be a lifestyle. This isn't something like I'm going to lose some weight. It's like, no, I'm going to start loving myself and I'm going to be a healthy person because I love myself and I'm very fortunate to be given this body and I'm not going to slap God in the face anymore. This is my relationship and I don't care what anybody says about me. I might not be perfect right now, but I am. I am 100% perfect. If you're where you're at right now, you needed to experience this for some reason. And what I've usually seen is why is because when you heal yourself, others are watching. And so all the people that you love around you, you're basically handing out permission slips to all of them that they can change too. And you just have to stick
Beautiful.
with it with that self-love and you can change not only your family but entire communities and the world literally by changing yourself.
I love that, Tim. Tim, tell us, where can people find more of your work, listen to more of your wisdom, and where can they save on your amazing chemical-free body products, which we use every single day and we love them.
Yeah. Well, you guys can find us at chemicalfreebody.com/inspired. That's chemicalfreebody.com/inspired. We have, it's the whole, well, we don't do Black Friday and Cyber Monday over here. We do Green Friday and Nature Monday. So if you come over,
I
don't
love
get
that.
confused. Okay. We want to be a little more chill. Well, those sales are happening right now. And plus you using the inspired code, you get additional 5% off. So and then my podcast is over there, Tim James Unleashed, under the media tab. You'll find that. I also do free trainings on Facebook every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Not every day, excuse me. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, just for 30 minutes. It's a place where people can come, talk to the coach live, get your questions answered on the spot, and then bounce and then come back next week if you have more questions. So I like to make myself available for people when I can because I just feel like I'm so blessed and I got all this information now and I've got to get it out to people. Like like people have to know that green juices will change your life, and grounding and the sunshine and all this amazing stuff that's like free and it's
Tim, we love who you are. We love what you do. We love the high vibing, 100% natural, never any fillers products. And this is we've been looking for you and what you do for a very long time. So very grateful to have found you. Inspired Tribe, go check it out. The links in the video description, chemicalfreebody.com/inspired, and you'll find everything there. Tim James, thank you so much for your time today, brother. Always a pleasure.
my pleasure. Thanks, everybody.
And Inspired Tribe, thank you so much for tuning in. We love you. We appreciate you, and we'll be back with you again very, very soon.